today because I want to talk to you about a real important concept here in Chicago that you may not know about. It's called passing the buck. And now what does it mean to pass the buck? It means when somebody asks you to do something, you say, nah, I don't really do that. I do something like that, or I do something adjacent to that, but I don't do that, and I can't help you. Someone else can. Go talk to this guy. Like when you go down to City Hall and you try to get a permit, you go to the 3rd floor to the office, and they say, actually, you're in the wrong office. You got to go to the 6th floor. The 6th floor says, hey, we don't do that up here. You got to go to the 2nd floor. So you get to the 2nd floor. They said, why aren't you on the 3rd floor? And they get kind of mad. You go back to the 3rd floor, and by that time, everyone's out to lunch. And here's a prime example right behind me. This festering pile of pigeon feces, which accumulates yearly and is only occasionally scraped, maybe biannually. Now this viaduct and this underpass is completely overrun by pigeons, and nobody's doing nothing about it. I'll tell you why. Now the Chicago Transit Authority, the CTA, is responsible for a very small area around a train stop that's under the underpass. They say it's not their responsibility, and it's the Illinois Department of Transportation's job to actually deal with the pigeons up there, and they come and they put up these nets. Well, the pigeons are tricky, and they get up in there and they nest and whatnot. Illinois Department of Transportation says, hey, it's not our problem, we'll maintain the netting, but it's really the city of Chicago's problem to maintain the sidewalks. The city of Chicago says this is split between the 45th and the 39th ward, and our hands are tied. Maybe we'll get somebody out there with the power washer sometime. So just remember, when the people of authority pass a buck, you'll get covered in shit, and it's another valuable Chicagoland lesson.
Today's presentation has been brought to you by Birch. Thanks, Birch, for sponsoring today's video. Their 4th of July sale is live now, so be sure to head to the link to the description and check them out. Birch makes mattresses crafted with organic and natural materials that have been sustainably sourced. Their mattresses are free from polyurethane foams, which can cause harmful off-gassing, and are also free from fiberglass, which can be detrimental to your health. It was important for me to choose a Birch mattress made with organic and natural materials because I can sleep easy, knowing I'm avoiding harmful off-gassing that can result from polyurethane foams. I ordered the Birch Luxe Natural Mattress, a premium upgrade to their original well-loved Birch Natural Mattress. I've had my Birch mattress for a couple of years now, and I love it. What I like most is having a mattress that's environmentally friendly and is free from polyurethane foams. With your Birch mattress, you get a 100-night sleep trial along with a 25-year warranty. The best part about all of this is that Birch delivers the mattress right to your door for free within the USA. They also offer in-home setup and removal to make your buying experience as convenient as possible. Each Birch mattress comes with 2 of their EcoRest pillows made from recycled materials. They're breathable and better for the environment. I love my Birch mattress, and I think you would too. If you're looking for a new bed, check out Birch Living. Their 4th of July sale is live now, so it's the perfect time to upgrade your sleep with 25% off a Birch mattress, plus 2 free EcoRest pillows. Visit birchliving.com/crimepays to find out more about this limited time offer.
Welcome to another episode of Crime Pays a Botany Doesn't. I'm here at East Austin Succulents at their main greenhouse with Roy, and he's going to tell us how he got into all this and how he started doing this. So Roy, tell me what's up. How'd you get into growing plants, and what do you got going on here?
Well, just being from Texas, having family, I was in the Boy Scouts, going out to Big Bend and seeing plants, and it's just always interested me. And we had some great growers here in Austin when I first started back in 2012. Daryl out at the Living Desert, then I joined the Cactus Club, started volunteering and helping and growing from seeds, so just messing around.
And so you've got a wealth of diversity here. None of this stuff is technical. This is like this is your personal.
I knew that was gonna come up. Yeah, I got a lot of slutty sluts. My mothers, they've made a lot of babies and they don't all know who they are. So
a lot of hybrids,
yeah.
But whatever. I mean, it's not like it's in habitat anyway. It's fine. So you got grafts. Tags get in the way anyway. But So what's going on with these guys? You got these astrophytum,
Yeah.
Caput medusae.
And you know, my buddy was actually telling me if you don't have another Cap Medusa flowering, you can pollinate it with, you know, an ornatum, and it'll make more Cap Medusa. They will just want to make more of themselves. So I doubt there's going to show any traits of anything else.
So a lot of the astrophytums hybridize with each other.
Yeah, except for these guys, apparently they just make more Cap Medusas.
What's the stock on that one? Do you know?
It's Echinopsis.
Wow. And so it gets cold as shit in Austin in the winter, or it can. I mean, I saw you said this got a freeze damage from a tree falling on it, breaking
like
it.
40 feet up, it bent this when it fell on here, and luckily Eric was here with his chainsaw and helped me cut it up. All this shit was covered in ice, which kind of sucked, but you know, got it cleaned up.
Good old Quercus fusiformis came down in a storm. So these are all epithelantha?
Yeah, man, one of my favorites. So I love Mexican miniatures. Eriocarpus, Turbidocarpus, Epithelantha, and Astrophytum. Those are my top 4. I used to try to collect a little bit of everything, and then I didn't have enough space, so I just try to stick with these guys, and then also, you know, colorful stuff. I like variegated stuff.
This is nuts, man. This thing is growing like it's on fucking steroids.
Well, it was, because it's a degraft.
Oh
shit, but it's rooted, so I can't show it. Look at this one. That one is better, but this one I might have to cut it up, and that's where I get a lot of my plants, is I just degraft them from these bigger ones, and I've cut this several times and it always grows back. So
you put it on a stock with more plumbing and it
Yeah.
juices it up, and then you can degraft
I'm
it.
happy that this guy's solid, man. That's great.
Because if you saw that in situ, if you saw it in habitat, that'd be like a 30-year-old plant, probably 40-year-old plant. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
What?
So this actually, when I first started volunteering at the Cactus Club in Austin, they had this plant right here, and it was just struggling, not getting enough water, and they said, okay, go make some and bring us back some, and I said, okay. So I started grafting. So that came from this.
And what's the stock on it? You just
Stenocereus, yeah.
So have you seen an uptick in people interested in this kind of stuff? Probably post COVID, a lot of people got into it.
Yeah, it's up and down. You know, nursery business is a double-edged sword. You know, it's like wintertime is slow, spring is good. Luckily in Austin, we've got a lot of people that are interested in this kind of stuff. When I lived in California, it was pretty amazing to see how much stuff grows in the ground. You know, seeing I saw a whole hillside of jade plants. If you had one of those here, you know, someone would buy it for $100, but there, you know, you got all aeoniums.
Yeah, they grow like weeds out there.
Yeah.
I hope more people get into plants as opposed to weed and video games thing. Yeah, well, a little bit's fine, but it's
Disc golf.
This stuff is fucking rejuvenating for the soul. You know, would you say that? Would you say this keeps you out of the news a little bit? It does me. I'm not gonna lie. I got a list of, some targets if were I ever to get a terminal illness. I shouldn't say that on a video, but it's fine. It's
I like to sit in here and look at the plants, and you got to look at them really closely sometimes too to see if there's any pests or anything. But when I first started, it was my little man cave, and now, it's work, but I still love it.
Yeah, it is. It's spiritually healing, I should say, for the lawyers too. There's no individuals on that list. It's just entities. Health insurance companies, some large corporations, etc. Okay, so don't
check this out, Joey.
Okay, yeah, so what happened here? Jeez, that's a clusterfuck of beautiful things. Look at that.
Yeah, man. And, they actually are the easiest ones.
Wait, what happened to this, though? You got Leuenbergias and you got what else in there?
Well, I was planting the Leuenbergias, and they kind of went into that one, but obviously I know they're not Turbidocarpus. But when I make my hybrids, I do have, like these I labeled Joernigae. So I've got these guys, and also Lophophoroides I like to keep labeled. But then when I just have all these other guys, sometimes...
What the fuck? Look at all those Obregonias in that. What happened there?
Well, the Joernigae snuck in, but yeah, man.
So you were growing Obregonias in there, and then this guy got in there, and they all look happy as hell, though, so...
But look at these. A lot of these are volunteers, actually. So when I had my seedlings, and, I just started watering, they're so thick in here.
That's all turbs. That's all Turbinocarpus.
Yeah, I grew all of these from seed.
Wonderful genus. How many different species of Turbinocarpus?
Oh,
20 or 30 or something?
I wish I have the Eriocarpus etc. book inside if you want to look at it. But these are cool because these are variegated Alonzoi hybrids. This is one of my favorite plants. And they have the red or pink flower.
Oh. Would you say with the turbinicarpus, have you noticed how they get that spindly thing? It's an adaptation of those talus piles they grow in. Do they
right.
do that
yeah,
when
I
you...
saw that on your video.
Yeah.
Yeah, so check this guy out. I got this guy a long time ago, but look, you were talking about the anchor. That's one of those. It's a bigger one.
I always say you could tell a lot about a plant's habitat sometimes just by looking at it, especially if it's got like hairy leaves or something that comes from a desert. And
this thing used to have a lot more heads, but when that tree fell, a lot of them broke off, but I was able to root them. Turbinicarpus, you can do cuttings.
So people might see some of these turbinicarpus. It's a genus of cactus, and you get subterraneous is a great species that does that too. And you'll see this long tapering stem that's achlorophyllous, doesn't have much chlorophyll in there, and that's because they will grow up through rock. They'll kind of grow up winding through rock. I'm sure the seed germinates at the top of the rock and then slowly starts to send down a root and whatever. But either way, it's a really fucking cool phenomenon. You see it with a bunch of them, huh?
This one.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ. I thought this was, holy shit. Yeah, there's a great, see, case in point. There's a good example of that.
And then look at the Copiapoa.
Where? This?
Yeah.
A lot of Copiapoa don't do well here,
Well,
right?
look
Because
at
they're from a cooler desert. Their metabolism's
I've had
adjusted.
this for probably 15 years.
And who's this?
This is Copiapoa hypogea.
Yeah, this is like the really common one.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
but look at all those volunteers just from not collecting my seed. I like to pollinate though.
But have you noticed though, a lot of the like Gigantea, the other ones, they just don't.
I'm not really into Copiapoas.
Right.
I just like these guys.
What the shit is this?
Oh, that's fell off of this turbinicarpus.
That's turbinicarpus.
Yeah.
So there you go. You could see what they're. That's fucking wild. God, I want to see them in habitat. The habitat's got to be incredible. I've just seen a couple photos, but they're growing up through that talus. They're anchored, because the soil is still 8 inches beneath the talus, the little pebbles that they grow through. So,
Yeah, man.
but you notice Copiapoas kind of melt in this climate. Have you heard people talk about how they're?
I don't really mess with them too much. Like I said, I got these guys. I am a little bit shadier here, and I don't water as much because of it. And I try to have my fan going, so I've had these guys forever.
Yeah. But a lot of the South American cacti, like where I live on the South Texas border, we can't grow a lot of that South American stuff, especially if it's high elevation. The metabolism just stops when it's super hot.
I'm sorry, I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really proud of these guys back here. Oh, check this out. This was the bottom of Ericarpus agavoides. So the top we grafted, and it didn't really do as much, but the bottom exploded. And when that thing freaking flowers, it's amazing.
Holy shit. How long has that been grafted for?
So Daryl from the Living Desert did that one for me back in probably 2014. And, it was just a stump with the roots. Yeah, I make a lot of seed off that guy. And then I've got these other mothers over here. And so the seed's actually starting to get ready. And, with my Ericarpus, I try to just do, like if I have agavoides, I'll do more agavoides. If I have hybrids, I'll make more hybrids. But I've got my Bravoanus all together, and they're starting to put out seed. And what's crazy is the humidity. I need to collect these because, look, the humidity's starting to make these a little bit moldy.
Oh, yeah. What pollinators do you get in here? I mean, you do pollinate a lot of this by hand, or?
I do it mostly by hand, but I've seen the bumblebees. The bumblebees come in here.
God, look at that beast. Look at that fucking beast. That's hilarious.
Yeah, Hector always wants to buy this one from me. I got this when I first started, so it's just, it's nice to have it.
And this Physauratus, what's up? How old is that?
I got that from my buddy again, Daryl, at the Living Desert. He grafted all sorts of stuff, and Man, you should see some of the wild stuff he used to have, but he's gone now. So.
These are Haematocactus, right? West Texas phenotype.
No. Actually, I grew these from seed. I ordered, this is the Sclerocactus. I ordered seed from Mesa Garden when I first started. And, I pollinate these two now, but it's pretty amazing.
What species is Sclerocactus?
Well, that's the thing. When I first started, I just wanted to see what I could grow, and I didn't label it.
It's great to have anyway. It looks pretty remarkable, man. You got these variegated Ericarpus too. Where'd those come from?
Fairyland.
Jesus Christ, that's
where all the
wild.
magic comes from.
That looks like some sort of, fruit candy.
Dude, look at this thing. This is variegated spiralis. And so,
holy shit.
Yeah.
That's wild.
We've made a few, but this one's pretty yellow. It's pretty cool.
Look, it's Euphorbia abdul curry. I got one of those in my front yard. Looks like a big waxy silver dildo. it's nice. You know, it's a great thing to put near an entrance for the mailman. You know, just so they know what they're working with when they show up. You know, the fucking probably Amazon drivers get really vibed out sometimes too. And these are this is Caput Medusae. How old are these?
I'm not sure. My buddy gave me those, but I can show you. Let me get my other seedlings I have growing inside. And I'll show you those.
Oh wow, holy shit! And so when do you graft these? When do you graft these guys?
Well, I haven't actually grafted those. Madam Cacti has.
Yeah.
I've just got them on their own roots.
I just successfully grafted one to a Myrtillo, but
6 months.
Yeah, yours is gonna be badass, man.
See,
you did a great job on it.
See these yeah, the thing with the Astros, see when they get all wrinkly like this, like they need a lot of water for a cactus, but you can't water them unless it's hot. So it's kind of that thing. I mean, they're from such a fucking hot place. And when you see them where they're growing in situ in Stark County, they're growing in mud, but it's, you know, it'll be fucking 80 degrees on Christmas. You might get a cold day where it's 50 or maybe 45. Maybe it'll drop to freezing for a few hours in the morning. But then, you know, the next day it'll be fucking 80 again. Hey, tell me about this. You guys said the Strombo cactus. We're doing it. Look at it. So this is a beautiful. It's almost like an Obregonia with.
I get tons of seeds from these guys. They're so small. They're like dust, but they're hard. They're not as easy as Astrophytum. I'll tell you that. I've gotten probably 10 or 15 to adulthood out of probably 5,000 seedlings. So not great for me, but they make a lot.
And what's the issue? They don't germinate, or they rot or something, or what?
Well, maybe I should be microwaving my soil more.
They're so small that they're really prone to damping off.
Yeah.
Oh,
They'll all sprout. And actually, I've got some seedlings down here.
And do you get a lot of like mealy bugs or scale or anything? What do you do with those systemics, or what? How do you?
Bare tree and shrub granular. I'll sprinkle it on and water it in, and then also I'll get the liquid miticide. I try not to spray anything with any oils because it'll burn the plant. Yeah, and spider. You get a lot of spiders moving in on. I saw some nice spiders. That's the best thing to have for a lot of this shit. But you need a lot of spiders. You know what's funny is one time my cat had fleas, and my landlord was like, "Well, get some spiders. Put some eucalyptus in there." Oh no, she said, "Put some eucalyptus in there." And I said, "Oh man, now I got spiders." She goes, "Get some lizards." I'm like,
Look at this beast Obregonia, size of a. It's the size of a fucking grapefruit, bigger than a grapefruit. How old is this?
Oh, fuck, man. Probably, I don't know, 15, 20 years old.
Do you get a lot of good seed off this, or what?
Actually, these guys are full of seed right here.
Oh, wow. No shit. So this is cool. Obregonia, sister genus to peyote, sister genus to Lophophora, according to the phylogeny, to the DNA. And you can actually see it, you know, if you're ever growing obies from seed, you can see that they've got that thick taproot, and then you can see it a lot in the flowers. And, of course, the fruit is similar too. The fruit is like a little.
Yeah, some of them didn't get pollinated, but you'll see the ones that did,
like
that
one.
one.
A little chili pepper, yeah. Look, we're here in the lab, the mutant lab. This is fucking hilarious. Oh, so these are all grafted cultivars of weird phenotypes that popped up. You know, you grow 1,000 of the same seedling, one of them looks weird. Graft that. Here's a great example, this Obregonia. So, Roy, what's this Obregonia cultivar called? This spiral bastard.
You got me, I don't know.
It's brand new, expensive.
Jesus Christ! It's
300. I don't know why. What's it gonna do? You know, it's not
gonna. You gotta get some tissue culture now. Well, you look at it on acid or something, and it's beautiful. Ah, it's a vortex, a spiral galaxy. But it's weird. These are things that, you know, in nature they wouldn't last very long, or they would maybe go unnoticed, and then you get them in the cultivation, they become these prized possessions. I like, you know, from an anthropological standpoint, I like what it says about us as a species, you know. It's kind of interesting. I like it. But it also is interesting, too, how these mutants pop up, these phenotypes. Another perfect example is an Areocarpus. You couldn't exist if you couldn't produce much chlorophyll, only a little bit, so you got to be grafted. You get this species of bipedal primate that loves you nonetheless in spite of your flaws, and you know, is willing to pay good money for you, whatever, and they start doing all this stuff. So what the shit is that? How the fuck, you know, what's going on phenotypically that these things pop up? You know, I think they're irradiating seeds. I think they're doing like a little Hulk treatment. You get gamma radiation on some of these seeds or something. You know, I don't know. Or maybe you're frying pollen. You know, with that ionizing radiation, how do you do it? The Japanese are doing a lot of weird stuff with this stuff. You know, I don't know how they're doing that. You see how they're doing that? I don't know what they're doing with that stuff. What the shit is this? What is this? This is a pellicifera. Is that what this is? Or is this a man? Somebody tell me what this is. I'm about to have a breakdown. Eric, what is this thing? What's this thing over here?
This one?
Is that a mam?
Yeah,
These
mammillary. Bertholdia. Yeah.
Pectinate fucking spines. What the shit? God, it's amazing. Oh, who's in there? Is there a little bug in there? What's that guy doing in there? No, now he's hiding. That's amazing. Look, the grafted dildo euphorb. I love this. Abdul Curry. It only grows on one island in Yemen, off the coast of Yemen. And, you know, can be very slow. Loves getting blasted with full sun. Dense cuticle, dense wax on there. See that? And it's, but you graft it, it grows 10 times faster. They grafted it to a euphorb. Excuse me. And now it looks like a fucking incredible octopus. It looks like one of them. What's them? Those weird Japanime porn. What's this stuff called?
So these guys actually have a yellow latex. It's not like the regular white that you get from.
But I made a ton of.
Wow, Jesus Christ! So yeah, I was going to point that out. So cacti, or euphorbia, unlike cacti, produce prodigious amounts of latex, and
But
so
these, yeah, these are like almost like a yellow-green latex sap. It's, you know, pretty toxic. You don't want to get into
Yeah.
everything. But what I recommend, instead of washing it off or putting powder, just let it drip dry. Let it bleed out, and that's better than trying to cake it with powder because that'll just cause rot.
Yeah, it won't take. Yeah.
it's
So
better.
that, I was going to ask, when you guys graft these, you know, euphorbia produce so much latex. How do you do that? So you're gonna let that dry, and then you're gonna.
Yeah. So instead of powdering it, we've done tests. It's like, well, the
Oh, you're
ones
talking
that are-
about rooting it, though.
Yeah,
Okay,
rooting.
yeah, but for grafting, you
Yeah,
just
Eric
deal with
does a lot of
with the latex. Wow.
Yeah.
You have to spray with a lot of distilled water. Just keep spraying. Put
Uh-huh.
your rubber bands on.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I love this. This is like depths of addiction to one subject, and it's fucking amazing. I mean, this is you know, two guys. I mean, that really started it. There's a whole operation. They've got employees and stuff, but it was two guys that just went nuts and fucking lost their minds in one evolutionary group of plants. Well, a few. Oh, the succulents, you know, because you know, succulents is a polyphyletic term. You get a bunch of you know, independently evolved succulent stem plants. But what the shit? What is this thing? This euphorbia. What is this? Asthenacantha.
Yeah.
What is this, Eric?
So Eric, this is Eric. He's the other half of East Austin. Is it who does East Austin Succulents? It's you and Roy.
It's mine. He's my right hand man.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So it's okay, but and then you got employees and stuff. But
Yeah.
but basically, you started this. You just got into this and went fucking
Yeah.
nuts. You
Fuck
just
what?
went
Yeah.
totally fucking over.
Yeah,
I love it.
I was a collector as a kid.
Have you lost any friends because of this? Because I've lost a few friends from fucking the shit I'm into.
There's
I mean,
no time for friends. I'm a slave to the plants. You know? There's problems everywhere, and I need more and more of everything. But yeah, I was a collector as a kid, like Garbage Pail Kids and comic books and football cards. And then I was a minimalist for a long time. I could fit everything into my car, and I enjoyed being poor. And then when you get into this, I have so much stuff now. Like I don't like to be an American consumer of things, but it's just like I've got stuff everywhere.
but these
now.
are living things. These are,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Do you ever get? Be honest. I get a little woo with this shit sometimes. I wouldn't say that until a few months ago. But do you ever, like, would you fucking, you know what I mean? You ever like play music for them or talk to them?
Oh
and
yeah,
shit?
all the time. There's always
Yeah.
music playing.
Yeah, yeah.
And every time I walk into a greenhouse, it's the same thing. How's everybody doing in here?
Yeah,
All right,
they're
all right.
fucking living things, man. You
Yeah.
know, they're not just these. It's
Yeah.
not like you're talking to a fire
So
hydrant.
now my little baby boy, who's 2, I'll carry him into a greenhouse, and he's going, all right, and we say goodnight, you know, and we say, everybody happy, and so we're always talking.
So this is the. Would you say this is the euphorbia dungeon?
yeah,
right
yeah.
Here?
This is a crested lizard skin, one of a kind. I'm gonna start releasing that. But I'm really liking pharaoh cactus for the aerial carpet scraps. It's
That's
gonna be
glaucescens, or what is that?
yes, yeah.
That's good
glaucescens
grafting
is
stock.
Nice
Huh?
to work with, you know.
What? So what the shit? What's this? This is that an astro? Is that Kiko?
This
or what
is Kiko, a really good form of it.
How the fuck,
I
man?
think they can all be really interesting.
How do they get this? They've got to be growing tens of thousands of seeds and throwing out 99% of them.
Yeah. Well, you taught me about that.
That's, I mean, this
Recessive
is,
alleles.
I mean, I got a friend who breeds Missems, and he's, you know, he straight up says, I don't want the ones I don't like to exist anymore. He's got like a little Mussolini thing going on, you
Or
know?
like, what if you mix that with that, you know? That would, maybe that would.
Right, I guess once you get the alleles or series of alleles that code for that out, once you coax them out of a genome, then you can start hybridizing them and shit and whatever. It's you know, but it's getting them in the first place. It's weird. I've seen people do so. I mean, just some of the cultivars you guys have, which are just mutant phenotypes, are fucking nuts. I mean, that Obergonia over there. When did that pop up? You know, where'd it come from?
China.
So someone was breeding these in China and got that weird spiral thing. And how?
You can never get bored with succulents. There's always going to be, everything can go monstrose or variegated, and there's always better growers that can grow things fatter, and there's things that you can do better, and I love it, you know.
So when did you start East Austin Succulents, and what made you decide to do it?
I think it was like 15 years ago, but it was more like farmers markets and wholesaling, and you know, I worked for one guy that was the best echeveria grower in the nation, and then I met Carl, who's like the best grafter in the world. And when you take on mentors, you can kind of fast track things and take shortcuts and get things going faster. And I'm a gambler, you know. I'm not scared to go heavily into debt to get everything I need and get the box truck and get things going, and you know. But there's a lot of stress and a lot of heat in the summer. It's a hard life.
But you've probably seen a lot of interest, you know, bloom from this stuff.
Especially
I mean, it's
COVID, you know, everybody spent a lot once COVID was out, and then
do you think did it taper off after COVID? Like, did people just go back to fucking sitting inside and staring at phones and, you know, video games and whatever shit, or are people still doing the plant thing?
I don't know. I think it comes in with the seasons. Like, we had a real rough summer. It was so hot last year that sales dropped, and then there's a lot of fear in the winters, you know, because we had the ice storm last year. So I think this year people didn't want to take on too many plants because we had a big freeze. And but now spring is here, and everybody's back.
Have you seen any interest in any of the native cacti?
Absolutely, you know, and I don't focus on it too much because I want things that appeal to more people. You know, I have 10 mouths to feed, so if I'm just growing natives, that'll be boring to a new consumer of succulents.
Right.
So I do it, you know, I grow the seeds, but they won't be big and nice.
But Texas has a wealth of cactus diversity. Do you see people coming around asking for that, or?
Yes, and I'm always kind of ashamed that, you know, I'll be like, well, I just have, you know, this Echinocereus or this, you know, Echinocat. You know, I don't have much, and I should have more.
Well, people always want, and I've seen it every country I go to, people always want what's on the other side of the fence, you know.
Sure, okay,
they don't. A lot of people aren't into their own native flora. It was like that in Brazil. You know, Brazil's got incredible flora. People are planting fucking, you know, shit from Asia.
And also, I share my nursery space with Tiller Street Plant Company, and they sell cold hardy, and I'm not allowed.
They got
to
a bunch of natives,
So they'll have that stuff, and they have the agaves and stuff. So I need to just try to focus on more and more rare to keep people interested. You know.
Eric, thank you for having me, man. Thank you for tolerating us and the dogs and everything. And I love what you're doing, man.
You're the best.
You know, you see him, he's a gentleman. He's a wonderful man. You know, he's a fucking, in many ways, Hunter's his own wizard. He's a wizard, is what he is. He's a wizard. I think it's safe to say that. You know, there he is in his element doing his thing. Check out his channel, Cactus Quest. Known him for a few years now, you know. Okay, who's this guy? Tell me, what are you doing here?
Caden. I work here Mondays and Tuesdays, just potting up plants. You know, these are cuttings. Been cut about a month ago, so they're long overdue to be put in pots.
You talk loud, because I don't got a mic. I'm lowbrow, so I just, you know. Anyway, so you're okay. So you get a nice batch of soil.
Yeah.
He's potting up cuttings. What are you working on there? D-grafts, gymnocalyst. Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
That's a nice
this is
label
our soil that we use for mostly cuttings. You know, got some gymnos. Got some nice florps, I think, versus. Yeah, just putting them in pots, waiting for them to root, and then.
What do you use as the top dress in volcanics, or is that
It's just,
it's the expanded shale.
Yeah.
There you go. You like working here? Pretty mellow?
It's pretty mellow.
Seems pretty
just
fucking mellow.
Podcasts all day.
Yeah.
Fuck with plants. It's pretty awesome.
All right, Caden, good to meet you, man.
Yeah,
Thanks a
nice
lot.
to meet
Look at that. Look at these weird synesioids. All right, so the Senecio-clade of Asteraceae in South Africa has evolved succulents, and you get a bunch of weird stuff down there. Like, they chill out. What's your problem? Anyway, you get a bunch of weird stuff down there, okay? And here's one of them. I forget the genus name on this. Curio. There's quite a few different ones, but anyway, it's basically just a succulent sunflower. And this is a whole evolutionary group of plants that you encounter in South Africa. They're pretty fucking weird. I mean, they're succulents. They're succulent sunflowers. Look at these fucking beast Abdul Curry. Oh, it's amazing. Again, they're like, they're like the poodles to wolves, but they're still pretty remarkable. And I just like having plants because I like to study them. I learn a lot about them, from not so much on a collector thing, but I like learning. And the best, learning tool if you're trying to study botany is to have plants at your disposal. Study what their flowers look like, study how they grow, study how they respond. If they die, observe why they died, what did they need, etc. And then just read up on them. Read about the habitat, all that shit. There you go. Cypocereus bradii. Cypocereus is a South American, predominantly Brazilian genus of cacti. Bradii is really common in cultivation because you get that beautiful blue color to that epidermal tissue. But Cypocereus manensis is a really cool one, bat pollinated, really common in Minas Gerais, Brazil, in those Campos rupestris habitats that gets the beautiful blue fruit. So got a couple manensis seedlings I'm going to bring them because I want to seed in cultivation. I don't know if I bring it to them, they'll graft it, they'll do some wild shit with it, and I'll end up seeing it in cultivation in a few years. The other thing I think that's important to mention with all this stuff is that the plants are using us, and I'm fine with that. They're using us to enlarge their populations, which they should be because we're fucking the planet into a coma and taking so much land. So I think the plants are, maybe they're trying to save themselves, save the habitat. I think the whole life force of Earth is trying to save itself, from the human ape before it demolishes the landscape. So I kind of like how this stuff works. They found a way to wiggle themselves into our neurology and our fixations on things, and use us to their benefit. Are those horse cripplers over there? Is that a Cactus horizontaloneus? Sure looks like it. He's growing some natives here. That's nice. Maybe that's what psychedelics do. They're trying to fucking get people to come around so that we stop. I think we're probably going to hit a brick wall first, but it's a pleasant thought. Could be the nice plot of a sci-fi novel. So this right here is the Trike dungeon, the Trichocereus dungeon. Now Trichocereus in situ, their native habitat is about 16 degrees south latitude and about 9,000 feet elevation. So it's kind of remarkable that they take so well to cultivation, all right? Now, where I live, Trichocereus, it's just far too hot, and I'm sure Miami's the same way. They just kind of stop growing in the summer. Whereas if you're in coastal California, they'll put on 3 feet a year. But here you could see we've got a variety of different Trichocereus cultivars, species. Looks like there's Peruvianus, Burgessii, and it's pretty fucking cool to see. I mean, people go apeshit over this too. The collector thing, it's not for me. But if it gets people into plants, and if it's their gateway drug towards learning about botany and caring about ecology in the first place, I'm all for it. I think it's fucking great. And you get wild shit like that, I got to admit, that is pretty cool. You can see Louise, she's so patient. She's just hiding out on her table. We got, that thunder's so nice. That is like thunder and cicadas, most pleasant background noise. We got a Cactus platyacanthus, one of many plants colloquially known as the biznaga. Grows in Nuevo Leon, loves the limestone, occurs all the way down into Oaxaca as well. Easy to grow from seed, but you need a little bit of heat, all right? Plant metabolism, especially these plants, is dependent on temperature. So if a plant has spent the last 90 million years, 30, 40 million years evolving in cool temperatures, you're not going to be able to grow it in really hot, humid ones, like cool, high elevation temperatures. If plants evolved, with this metabolism at very warm temperatures, at temperatures below 75, it's just not going to move. It's not going to grow. Echinocactus platyacanthus, you basically need a greenhouse. You need some warmth to get them going as seedlings. They can get 9 feet tall, probably live a few hundred years. They're barrel cacti. It's a species of barrel cactus, all right, which are not all the plants known as barrel cacti are not in the same genera. They're not even that closely related aside from being in the same family, etc. But wonder what's happening here with these Trichocereus. Looks like we hit some dieback, some rot, perhaps some frost damage. Who knows? We'll have to ask about that. But this is, you got cactus right there. That is that entire genus has evolved with hummingbird pollination. They got little, looks like a little dog dick, kind of like a little pink tube fruit. Could you say dog dick on a YouTube video? I think you could do that. I know these guys, Echinopsis subdenudata. One of the first cacti I ever grew from seed many years ago, when I first learned about the beauty of the evolutionary clade of plants known as cactaceae. What is this? Some weird damn mammillaria? What is this? I don't know what this stuff is. What's this man? Yeah, the spiraling geometry. Those areoles just so rife with trichomes. Holy hell. Got a couple monster copes. Now, Copiapoa is a genus that can be very hard to grow in hot, humid places. Coastal California is ideal to grow Copiapoa. Texas, not so much. So that's what they're doing. They're grafting it. Again, a plant that's had its, evolutionary past adapted to cool temperatures. Because the Atacama Desert, the fog deserts where these grow, is not a hot desert. It's a kind of a cool desert. 80 degrees is really hot. 90 degrees is extremely hot. That's a scorching day in the Atacama. They get a lot of fog. They grow along the coastal fog belt. But it's an incredible genus. Whole genus is endemic to Chile. Very species rich, a lot of wild shit going on. Unfortunately, a lot of poaching going on down there too. But again, if you graft these, you get seed stock. You don't need to poach. But I'm surprised there's not more people growing them in California, because that's really the best climate for them. Okay, so you got the brush and everything. So you guys do a lot of pollinating, just in case the native bees don't get to it or whatever. So this is what's going on with this astro.
So it's when you make hybrids and then you hybridize those, you just get weird stuff. This is an ornatum hybrid with Fukuryu, because it's got the these weird little
ridges and stuff.
Yeah,
ridges with trichomes on them too. What the shit?
But I actually crossed this with cat medusa. But like I was telling you earlier, one of my buddies was telling me that the cat medusa just want to make more cat medusa, but I still labeled this as the ornatum cross, and we'll see what happens.
So when you say that the cat medusa make more cat medusa, if you hybridize them with another, you mostly get seedlings that come out like cat medusa. Yeah. So that's a dominant allele in there, whatever's coding for the fucking
but then with other astrophytums, you can get all sorts of, you can see the parents, because I've got those ornatum cross. So I've got a bunch of ornatum myriostigma crosses that actually do really good in our front bed. They've survived the freezes, covered, but they're a lot stronger than Asterius.
But all the astrophytums hybridize with each other, huh?
Yeah. And that's one thing, because I consider myself an artist, like photographer, but then also plants. It's like, living art. And so
it fills the same urge.
And you do it with the paintbrush too. So yeah.
It's kind of cool. I've noticed that too. I was just talking with Hunter about that. Is like the fucking plant thing fills the same neurochemistry that you get, that same dopamine release from making a painting or drawing or fucking whatever.
Yeah, man.
Okay, so Roy, tell me what's going on with the trike dungeon.
I wanted to have them in the ground because plants that are able to really spread their roots grow a lot bigger than if they were in a tight little pot. I added a lot of pumice to this, and also crushed oyster shells, gypsum, and you can see, and then we fertilize, and so you can see how big and nice they're growing. Now in the front bed, where they get real sun, they actually grow great spines. They get the energy from the sun. In here, we're just mostly trying not to let them freeze, to tell you the truth. So they're more protected in here, but they don't get that full sun.
So if they get too big, what do? You got to lop them off then?
All of these are going to get cut and grafted. And what we'll do is we'll graft a tip, and then we could do either 2 slabs off this, or you can do a puck. So just like this much, and those will produce for you.
So people love the trikes. Why is that? Why do people go nuts about that?
I mean, obviously I like variegated stuff and I like blue stuff, but I couldn't tell you what any of these things are. Luckily they're all labeled, but people want them, so.
And do you get them to flower pretty good too, or what?
I've never had them flower. Now, we will get cuttings in that are from an old plant that maybe come with a flower. They've already started, making one when we get it, but none of our seed grown ones have ever flowered. Part of the reason why we actually have this cactus bed here is because, the weeds would kind of grow. Like, we just had a bunch of pots on the ground here, and the weeds started growing, and you have to get in there and clean them out. And so I was like, I need to clean this, and I pulled everything out, and this plant was already grown into the ground. So we actually built this whole thing around this.
Can see that.
Yeah, to make this grow. And so that's the big daddy there. And then we were just gonna make it mostly trichos, but then I suggested that we do some of these variegated spiralis, which are liking it.
Is that a Cereus or is that a trike?
No, it's a Cereus forbesii spiralis.
Okay, cool.
But this Cereus is really cool. I'm not sure what's going on, but the variegation is kind of like lightning. I don't know if you can kind of see.
Oh yeah.
We've
I
done
wonder
a
if
lot
it's
of cuts.
caused by a virus or if that's just a somatic mutation.
Boy,
or
look how
what.
much variegation this has here.
Yeah. Yeah, I got a Trichocereus chiloensis. I'll bring you guys. I still got seed. It's a cactus. It's common in the Andean foothills east of Santiago. It's fucking great. We got to get that cactus parasite though, Trichocereus, in here.
You know,
Loranthaceae, that tropical mistletoe ones, hummingbird pollinated.
I'd rather not. But look at what happens with these freaking Bergesii.
Yeah, what happened here?
They just don't like the humidity, or maybe they got watered. But you know, other types that aren't bridge or do pretty well. I mean, those have some Bergesii in them, and those are okay. But just seem like this cross
So
here.
this wasn't even freeze. This is just the humidity. It's just the phenotype that's probably from, or the population's probably from fucking Peru, high, super dry.
And you know, I should have cut this off and sulfured them, but I didn't.